Niall Mackay here, the host of a Vietnam podcast. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I'm still bringing you PodSwaps while a Vietnam podcast is on a long hiatus. You can check out my other podcasts that I'm working on, which are all on my website, 7millionbikes.com. It's really exciting. I'm making podcasts for businesses around the world, here in Vietnam and in the Netherlands, the UK, the US, and even Israel. One of my favorites, though, is the Vietnam is Awesome podcast. So really similar to a Vietnam podcast, but it's more focused on bringing the tourism highlights to people around the world who want to come and visit this amazing country. So this episode is actually with a former guest, Truong Que Phuong, who is the owner of Twist Cafe and Barzinga. And with her partner, Sabra, they have put together an amazing cabaret show. And so I was lucky enough to interview both of them recently for the Vietnam is Awesome podcast, and I'm sharing that episode with you today. And I also have some exciting news. I have a brand new episode of a Vietnam podcast coming up very soon. So if you haven't already, make sure you follow, subscribe, like, rate, review, do all that good thing so people can continue to find a Vietnam podcast and learn more about this amazing country. So enough from me. Thank you so much for tuning in, and enjoy this episode of the Vietnam is Awesome podcast on a Vietnam podcast. Cheers. Welcome to the Vietnam is Awesome podcast, where we uncover the true essence of Vietnam through awesome experiences. I'm your host, Niall Mackay, a long-time resident of Vietnam, comedian and brand ambassador for Vietnam is Awesome. In this podcast, I delve behind the stereotypes of this incredible country. I'll be exploring the hidden gems, the untold stories, and the awe-inspiring moments that make Vietnam truly awesome. Today, I have the privilege of sharing with you an interview with two extraordinary individuals who are producing a one-of-a-kind show in Saigon. Today, I'm talking to the owner of Twist Cafe and Barzinga, Truong Que Phuong, and the creator of the Jackfruit Cabaret Show, Sabra Johnson. Barzinga opened its doors in June 2022 as an arts bar hosting Saigon's playful, young and creative scene. Jackfruit is Saigon's newest cabaret show, directed by Sabra for her dance company, Eva. Jackfruit and Barzinga's collaboration has proved to be a magical meeting, bringing elegance and grunge together into Saigon's underground scene. Join us as we uncover the unique aspects of Saigon's underground art scene that will leave you surprised and excited to find out more. This episode is invaluable for anyone seeking something different to do in Saigon. Or you're maybe wondering if Vietnam is a welcoming country for the LGBTQ plus community. Whether you're planning your first, second, third, fourth, fifth visit, or you already live here, this episode is perfect for you. Get ready to be inspired, informed, and intrigued as we dive deep into the Saigon underground art scene right here on the Vietnam is Awesome podcast. Thank you very much for coming on the Vietnam is Awesome podcast.
Well, thank you for inviting us.
Now, Phuong, you own Twist Cafe.
Yes.
And that is one of the premier LGBTQ plus venues, bars, restaurants, cafes in Saigon.
Yes.
I think people who don't know much about Vietnam, one of the questions they might be asking is it accepting of the LGBTQ plus community here? Will they be welcomed if they come, and where do they go?
I would say like Vietnam is surprisingly very progressive toward LGBT right now. I think it's very LGBTQ plus friendly in Vietnam already. Comparing to Thailand, we can be like, let's just say like 9 and 10, something like that. And especially, I don't really know very much and very well about the more like the rural area for people in the countryside. But for big cities like Saigon, Hanoi, and Da Nang, and like other big city, it's completely fine. As actually as a country, we are peaceful and we are friendly, and then we just don't really harm people from being themselves. And there's also like a lot of things to do. If you follow like a few different groups on Facebook or on Instagram, then you can easily find there's a bars and there's a cafes for LGBTQ plus community in Vietnam, in Saigon, like Twist. Now we have Barzinga. There is a Frolic. I would say a little bit dirtier. And we will have like a Bride Cafe. We will have Next Level. And there's another one from the owner of a Pride Cafe that they just opened not too long ago that I forgot the name. And you can also follow a lot of drag community. Now we have Gender Fun, we have House of Illusion, we have House of Gold and stuff like that. So I think it's very nice and open for people to come to Vietnam to be as gay as they want.
Well, it is one of the things that I love about Vietnam. And you mentioned it, it's surprising. I think most people who've not been here, who don't know here, would probably expect it not to be accepting. And you mentioned about the rural areas. That's probably the same in any Western country as well. You go to any Western country, the main cities are accepting.
Agreed.
And as soon as you go to the countryside, changes a little bit for whatever reason. But it is amazing here in Saigon. And I do love Twist Cafe. You guys do amazing cocktails there as well. And you mentioned some amazing bars. So if you are visiting Vietnam, you are wondering about the LGBTQ scene, Phuong's just told you some amazing bars that you can check out, and it is very accepting here. So you went from Twist Cafe, then you opened Barzinga, and you mentioned it's a bit dirtier.
No, Barzinga is not dirty. I mean Frolic.
Frolic is dirty, but you mean not in cleanliness, right? You don't mean it's dirtier, like it's
no, it's not the sanitation I'm talking
it's
about.
a different kind of dirtiness. But tell us more about Barzinga then, because I did a show there with you. I did a comedy show there, and we had a lot of fun, and it's a cool little venue. So tell more about that. Where is it? Where could people find it?
Barzinga is located in District 1, right next to the side of a bridge that leads to D4 directly from Bến Thành Market. So there's a street from Bến Thành Market and you just go straight, and instead of like crossing Calmet, so say it.
You can expect the listeners to listen to the podcast walking. Oh, there's a bridge. There's a street. Is it this one? Maybe, I don't know. She's saying that we walk by a bridge. I don't know. Is it this?
Which bridge?
It's on Calmet Street.
There we go.
There we go.
But it isn't in the main tourist area, which is cool. And we want this podcast to kind of showcase places that are a little bit off the beaten track that you wouldn't find if you're walking down Boy Vienne, for example. So it is relatively close to Boy Vienne. It is in District 1, but it's a little bit off the beaten track. So we'll post it in the show notes, the address as well. We'll write down your directions.
Yeah,
thank you.
Go by the bridge. All right.
Yes.
Go under the bridge, through the hem.
Now, Sabra, so you have Eva Dance Company. How did you guys collaborate together to create a new show called Jackfruit?
We'll be right back.
Join pilot and adventurer Fernando Pino as he takes you on journeys to discover exciting destinations across the UK and Europe. You'll fly with him to hidden gems and experience local culture, from bustling streets to serene hideaways and the best places to eat, sleep, and play. Travel Plans is more than a podcast. It's your ticket to exploring the world and its history with a friend. In this episode, we are flying to discover a beachside paradise perfect for the whole family. Discover golden sands, activities galore, and even free childcare so you get your own break too. Why am I still here?
Phuong wanted some show in Barzinga because she was having many shows, like drag shows or comedy shows or music. And I dance, and I also have a dance company. So she really was like, oh, I want you to do something. So do something. And I was putting it off. And then one day I was like, okay, I'm in rehearsals for it. We're going to rehearse. She said, okay, when is it going to be? I said, in 2 months, and it's going to run for 2 years. And she said, what? So she started to help me, really help me put up Barzinga. I mean, really put up the stage, and she even built the dressing room in the back of the bar. So she built a dressing room for us, and she's in the show. So she also is rehearsing with us. The dancers, I have 5 dancers, and then Phuong, the MC, and we do an English night and a Vietnamese night. And our opening weekend was 3 shows to kind of get the ball rolling. And every month we play 2 nights. So it's every month a Friday and a Saturday. This month is the 3rd month. And like I said, I plan to go for 2 years.
So we have like 200 months left.
Yes, that's right.
Bad at
That's right.
math.
That's right.
200 months. How did the collaboration between Eva and Barzinga come about?
Eva is my dance company, and Barzinga is Phuong's new bar. And Sabra and Phuong are dating. She wanted a show in Barzinga. She throws events, so she has many like drag shows or open mic nights, music. Like she likes anything to come around. And she kept asking me like, oh, please do something. And I said, if I do something, I'm going to like do something big. I'm going to put the time in. So eventually, 6 months later, I started with my company to rehearse Jackfruit, a cabaret. It's a burlesque cabaret. And Phuong at Barzinga, she was very helpful. She even knocked out walls in Barzinga and some stairs for us to have space. I asked her for a new stage. She got me a stage like Lego so I can put it in different shapes and things. We got curtains. We made it into a whole theater vibe. And yeah, she also is the MC, the master of ceremony in the show. So our collaboration is more than just her like offering the space and me putting up the show. We really have put our time and our care into this. And she even performs in the show. So it's a very nice collaboration. And the show, I would say, is pretty elegant. And Barzinga is pretty grungy. So they meet in the middle. And it also gives it some extra sexy vibe.
Now, what is a burlesque cabaret show?
Good question. Burlesque is traditionally it's stripping. And burlesque would be the name we gave to it to make it more stage like friendly, like theater friendly. So long ago, we of course in the West, in Europe, in America, we will know burlesque so well. It's exactly that, to strip and make it into theater. And cabaret is our very old form of theater. A cabaret is a variety of either singers, dancers, musicians, comedy, acting, master of ceremonies, any sort of talent is allowed to be in a cabaret. So I call it cabaret because I like that theme, that old style theme that has many varieties. It's not necessarily a story. It's many variety. I have my MC and I have my dancers and I have always a special guest, and usually I will invite a singer every month. And burlesque, I want to do something very sexy. Vietnam will have many rules about that. So actually, we cannot be completely naked, but I will go to as far as I can. And so it's in that sense, it's burlesque in that sense. I really take that for inspiration.
I was going to ask that because anyone listening might be thinking, Vietnam, it's a communist country, it's ultra conservative. How can you do a burlesque cabaret show here? So anyone thinking that's not possible in Vietnam, can you explain how it is possible here?
Well, let's just say that we are trying our best to be very close to the limits, the boundary of all of the legal regulations of Vietnam, and we're trying not to cross anything too aggressive. That's why for the girls in the show, they are still being covered. And so far, we're not breaking any rules because as other people who've seen the show, they can also compare how much they see as it is in our show and it is in the backpackers area where there's like sexy dancers. But the quality is basically uncomparable. And that is the only, I would say, like not the only, but like the most effective way for us to protect ourselves from breaking any law and being illegal.
So can you describe the unique atmosphere that tourists will find at the Jackfruit Cabaret Show at Barzinga?
Barzinga look like and it feel like a basement club with broken walls and weird features in the house, and it bring you the feeling of Berlin nightclub. And at the beginning, it's like a Barzinga Saigon. Now I'm slowly turn it into like Barzinga Social Club because I only want to do events and I want to have it into a bar for art only.
Berlin is known as an international creative hub for many, many years. And so even 60, 70 years ago, they have that freedom in creativity. We had some nice compliments from some directors around the city that actually are even Vietnamese German or been to Germany or over there in France. And they instantly told us like, oh, it reminds us of Berlin in the 60s. So I think it has the same connotation as like Paris in the 1900 or New York in the 90s, and Saigon right now is also in its creative, like, how would you, like the not the height of it, but it's on its way.
Hmm.
So in the arts, in anything like music or painting or dancing or singing, anything like that, in that community right now, everything's very open. So there's no rules. So you can see a lot of things, it's nothing's become the fad or the fashion yet, right? So Saigon's quite open to things happening. So the things that are happening are underground, which I think is that feeling of Berlin. Berlin is so underground and grungy, and Saigon is also it has its underground scene. It's there, but you have to look for it. It's not like now you go to New York and we know it because you know exactly where to go because it's already on Instagram, It no longer has that mysterious vibe. And Saigon is right now in that moment. Like it has those things, but you must know where to go. And I think Jackfruit falls right in that way that we want to keep it a little bit mysterious for its content. But also Bazinga is very nice. Like Phuong explained, it's an art like social club and it's a little bit hidden. And Jackfruit, I made it like the highest quality I can. I made it the highest quality. So it's beautiful and my girls are gorgeous. The dancers are fantastic. And the space is just very cool. And sometimes things in life just kind of meet all of the stars at the right time. And Jackfruit in Bazinga is one of those things.
It's a really exciting time to be in Vietnam, and I feel really lucky to have been here at this moment in time. Previous guest Oscar Wright compared Hanoi right now to Paris, 1950s. And
Really?
the creative scene there. He compares the scene there in terms of the outdoor culture, the poetry, the creative scene up there. So it's really interesting that you're comparing Saigon to the same. And we think of Saigon as this economic behemoth because it's just developing so quickly here and it's the center of business. Vietnam's such a growing economy. But that's really exciting as well to hear that at the same time the creative scene is coming up. And I love that it's underground right now. You really do have to search it out.
Yeah, you really do. But there's a lot
Yeah.
of art, a lot of the singers, the dancers, the musicians.
So what inspired the concept behind the Jackfruit Cabaret Show and how does that tie into the Berlin underground scene that you mentioned from the 50s and the 60s?
Actually, I wanted to make a show for many years now, even before I came to Vietnam. I wanted a company with girls and I wanted to eventually have shows that are for the after hours. I like the night, so even I was imagining shows that start at 10 or 11 p.m. There's always like a late night society in a big city like Saigon. And it's nice to have something fun to do other than just drink, 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 drink. So I had that vision. I wanted to have that old school vibe of a lounge where you go and you will see some shows, but you can enjoy the night. So it's not the same to go to the opera house. I want you to come, you have some drinks, you enjoy. The show happens, you can smoke or do whatever you like to do. Show finishes, you feel nice and energized, you continue to enjoy through the night. So Jackfruit specifically, I wanted to use a poem. I wanted to use a poem and I wanted to be quite attractive, like sexually. And so I had asked Phuong if there was any poem in Vietnamese that was very sexy and alluring. And she told me about the poet, so Son Hương. So she's a few hundred years old, but the Vietnamese will know her very well. And yeah, so Phuong brings up the poem, and the poem is called Jackfruit. And in English, it's not translated very well. Yeah, as you know, like English and Vietnamese are too hard to like intertwine. So in Vietnamese, it's really like too kinky. And so,
Yeah.
she said it sounds so nice. And I like the idea of jackfruit because it's unexpected, so I liked the sound of jackfruit and I wanted to begin with this poem. So I started to build the whole piece. Like I started to build a piece out of that piece of information. And I changed the name a few times. At first, I really wanted the show to be called like Woman or something in that way. We tried to find the word also in Vietnamese, like Dang Ba or Nu Thân, like something very, very sexy, very direct, very mature, as well as open, not too limiting. And then I changed. I heard this jackfruit. I liked that idea. I tried to play with other things. Like Phuong had another name she used to use for something. It's called melon, but in Vietnamese, she will say it.
Melon.
And it's,
Desire in pussies.
yeah, just like, so the play on words. So I thought, oh, maybe we can use this because she already has it. So it's very nice. But then in English, like melon, it doesn't have the same connotation. It's too simple. And any other one is like too obvious, like strawberry or cherry. Jackfruit still was like, it's so inconspicuous. And then jackfruit, it's so dynamic. So I personally don't care for jackfruit, but I guess it must give you many things to like. It's spiky, and it's actually a huge fruit. It can be up to 10, 15 pounds. It's very huge fruit. And then when you smash it, break it, cut it open, it's full of these like quite thick pieces with huge seeds. It's a little bit sweet. It's creamy. It has like quite a strong smell, almost to durian. It has so many visuals and senses to it. So we ended up going with jackfruit, and in Vietnamese it's mít. And so I like that. So actually everybody will ask like, what does it mean? And why jackfruit? And I said, exactly. I just like that it makes you question already. So we started to, we used the name, and then I started to build the show, and the show is made of 5 parts. And my 5 parts, part 1 is body, and part 2 is dangerous, part 3 is bondage, part 4 will be our special guest, and part 5 will be vintage. So within those, I play with the word, I play with the dancer, I play with the artist, and it's very variety in what you get to see. So I like that. I'm very American in my way to entertain. And Phuong, as the MC, she will have tied like jackfruit into women, into art. So it's quite complex, but also easy to eat. I think the show is quite easy to eat. You won't leave going, what did it mean? It's not that kind of show. It's really just sit back, have a drink, really entertain. Really enjoy woman, and enjoy the many parts, sides, feelings she has to offer.
Well, you mentioned Phuong earlier, gender funk. How does this show add to that Saigon underground scene? How does it add to the LGBTQ scene here as well?
So basically the show is to flaunt women, to tell that like how sexy women are and how much we love the beauty of a woman. The show itself is thrown at an LGBT friendly space, and 1 or 2 actually, now we have like 2 LGBT member in the team, both of us playing the part of being a woman's lover. So I think it's LGBTQ included enough. And also, to be honest, that we want to show off the beauty of a woman as much as the drag queens want to show off their like feminine beauty. And in my opinion, this is the origin of beautiful, sexy woman. That the origin of the image of what drag queens are following, and at the same time very entertaining. That's all we want to show. And we have our community and our friend come and see the show. And we also trying to like inspire people, inspire our friend, our community to be, to be girly or like to be the other way or to be whatever way. But the art that we are bringing into the community, I think is necessary. Otherwise, it's just going to be boring.
Are there any specific tips that you would give tourists coming to Saigon about where to visit for the underground bar scene or the underground creative scene in Saigon?
There's a place called Elephant in Thao Dien. That place is actually like sitting on the street.
If you like, there's quite a few bars, so you can find them like Thao Dien because it's full of expat, but it's slowly growing into its own little community as well. And a lot of people from outside, either like foreigner or even Viet Q or Vietnamese like Phuong, will open up very cool things there. There's space, and so it's really eclectic. So a lot of nice places to eat, a lot of cool like bars, maybe a rooftop or maybe like a late night moody bar, like some Japanese spot. They love vinyl, or even a lot of new Korean. So there's a lot of spots like that. Within around the city, now in Ben Thanh, now they've been doing the construction for so long. And now they've finally opened up all of those streets. So yeah, we're all sure in 6 months, like they're all going to be filled with new sort of like stores and exhibition. And but along the lines of, I think when people come to Vietnam, you want to see some history, you want to see a little bit of what's happening now, and you really want to eat the food, right? So food is best. Like D4 is a fun place to go to eat food, right?
D5.
Around D1, around like where Barzinga is, and there's some other, you can walk around the street and they will have like, you can enter into some random buildings and they will be full of little like, 20-meter size like bars and a mixology, like cocktails becoming very popular.
Right.
So they will have a lot. So you can kind of walk around and easily find things in terms of like little art spaces. There are more and more. So exhibition, I think you have to search a little bit like on Instagram. But then there's other bars like Barzinga is an event club. Bardot is an event space in D2. Soma's also. There's also, they have social nights like dancing if you like Afro or salsa. There's like but Broma Observatory also throws like big parties. Lighthouse throws big parties. So there's things. You must look out for them, but there's things.
There's so much to do in Saigon
Yeah.
that you wouldn't expect. And I think everybody expects that they're going to come and eat pho. They're going to go to the Mekong Delta. They're going to see buffaloes and rice paddies. And then you come here and hopefully people listening to this will realize plan so much more. Like if you want to, I think this, even for me, when friends come to Saigon, you're like, oh, I don't really know what to do. It's only like you're going to go to the post office in Notre Dame.
No.
And you're going to do the usual. But you only need a couple of days here. But the part of the reason I've been here for 7 years now is we got here and we were like, we don't want to leave. There's just so much to do. We need to keep it. And then 7 years later, there's still so much. There's even
more to do. Yeah, that's
crazy,
right. There's even
right?
more to do.
What are some of the signature cocktails or drinks that tourists should try while attending Jackfruit?
I think the spicy one is really good. I really like the spicy one.
Does it have a name or it's just called the spicy one?
No, we only listed our cocktail by the flavor that it gives. So we have like spicy, sweet, bitter, creamy, and sour. So that's the 5 cocktails that the main taste that it will give you is the name of the cocktail by itself.
So spicy is wasabi.
Oh, no, not wasabi. That's disgusting. I was all excited there for a spicy cocktail.
It's it's not for pussies. I mean, it's not for a spicy hater.
No, I love spice. I just don't like wasabi.
Yeah, but
it's disgusting.
it is in a cocktail and it's made in a special way. But if you don't like that, that's totally fine. And also, I think the sweet one you should try too because we just changed it. And right now, if you order the sweet one in the show, it's just a shot of creme de cacao, and it's very nice. It's a Vietnamese made from cacao and rice, so it's very very nice.
To wrap up, What makes Barzinga and Jackfruit a standout must-visit for any tourist coming to Vietnam?
I would say it's the perfect combination between pure entertainment from dance, the venue, and also the dirtiness of both of us when we combine.
I think it's very unique. You won't find the show anywhere else in Saigon for sure. Or the experience, the full experience to go to the bar, to be late night. So it's not just a show and after you can go, it really is like you can take the night and do Jackfruit. So you will go and see Bazinga, you will have some drinks, you'll see a beautiful show. It runs about an hour and a half. You can order, you have your drinks during the show, and then when we finish, you sit, you chit chat, you contemplate life, smoke your cigar, continue the evening well to 4 a.m. These are my dreams. I like late night. So I think it's a full night experience. And yeah, it's one that can be compared with any great cabaret, I believe, in the world. So for something different and unexpected, I believe you should come to see Jackfruit.
Well, I was excited to go already. I'm even more excited now. Tell people, when is it and how can they get tickets and how much are they?
The show will play twice a month, every month. Those dates will change they will exactly a month between each other. So every month, twice a month. Ticket prices are 1.4 million. Saturday is always English. Ticket prices are 1.4 million. It's roughly $65. It will include one welcome jackfruit drink. And then from there, you can order your drinks. You can get tickets on Facebook page for Eva, or you can call our Jackfruit hotline. That is 0399419320. We have a hotline.
Now say that in Vietnamese.
Gọi em là 0399419320.
Oh, it sounds so much better in Vietnamese.
Right?
Well, thank you so much. If you're listening to this, make sure you get your tickets for the Jackfruit Cabaret Show. It's going to be amazing. It's not what you're expecting in Saigon, and you will have a great night guaranteed. Phuong, Sabra, thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much. Thank you for inviting us and
Yes.
having us here.
If you are enjoying this podcast, then you know what to do. It's such a cliche, but go hit the subscribe or the follow or whatever it is you need to do from whatever app you're listening to so you can get notifications for future episodes and keep listening. Every episode, we're going to be interviewing someone from somewhere different in Vietnam and talking about life there. We hope you're enjoying it as much as us. And then if you want to book a tour to go out and explore Vietnam, then make sure you go to the Vietnam is Awesome website, which is just vietnamisawesome.com. You'll find a whole bunch of tours and trips there that you can book. A massive thank you to the Vietnam is Awesome team for putting this podcast together, and to Lewis Wright, who composed and performed the music for this podcast. If you're still here, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Vietnam is Awesome podcast on a Vietnam podcast. And I know I say Vietnam too many times, but thank you once again. Don't forget, rate, review, subscribe, follow, all of that good things, and send me a message. I always love to hear from listeners from around the world. Tell me what you think of the podcast and anybody that you want to be interviewed maybe. So get in touch, and cheers. Have a good day. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're like me, you may use your laptop at places where you have to use public Wi-Fi. This opens you up to digital snoopers. It's a massive problem. It can be your internet service provider, or you know who, looking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal trying to steal your bank passwords or credit card info, or even a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. These days, it is vital that you keep your data safe. NordVPN keeps all of these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites that are phishing for your data, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. And it's easy to use. Even I could use it. I've actually been using NordVPN for years now here in Vietnam, and I'm excited to be an affiliate partner with them. I've used NordVPN to watch Netflix, BBC, Disney Plus with ease, and I also know that my information and data are safe from prying eyes, whoever they may be. Join now and you'll get 68% off and 3 months free when you go to my link, nordvpn.com/SMB. Just again, for those hard of hearing, nordvpn.com/SMB. The link is also in the show notes. I know nobody checks them out, but go check that out and you can get the link from wherever you're listening to this podcast. As an affiliate partner, it also means that I will get a small commission when you sign up, but at no extra cost to you. So not only will you be getting a great deal through 7 Million Bikes, you get a great VPN and you'll be supporting 7 Million Bikes podcast. Stay safe online and enjoy the shows you love. Any questions, just let me know. You know how to get in touch with me. And thanks for listening to this show. Cheers.